G'day folks, it's the Maple Monkey here again with another Marvel United gameplay video for you. We're still plumbing the depths of all the fantastic homebrew stuff that we've got out there, and today it's the turn of the Logan Files. So this is a really cool multi-villain fight that's been put together by a homebrewer by the name of, I'll just see if I can focus there, Martin. Now I think it's Martin VZ. Now we've got two A's here, we've got a little V and a big Z there, so I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but so Martin, let us know how to pronounce that for future reference, but looking fantastic. So this is a really cool multi-villain fight here. It's called the Logan Files, and it's actually a fight with Omega Red, Deathstrike, and Sabretooth, who are all sort of like, I guess, big baddies in their own right, but they also sort of tend to have in common an enemy in Wolverine. And I think there's a storyline in the comics where these three, I think Sabretooth sort of leads these two on a chase for Wolverine and his friends or something like that, and sort of teams up with them. So yeah, that's what we're going to be facing today. We're going to be taking on the full might of Martin's multi-villain fight here, and it's a lot of fun. Full disclosure, I have not beaten it yet, so we'll see how I go today. But it's pretty chaotic and fun, and it's a good one. So I've enjoyed coming back time and time again to try and take them down. They're a fun challenge sort of thing. So if we have a quick look over at the back here, you can see it, and this is put together using Diversion Architects, I think, in design template as well. So looking really cool with this format as well. We've got the Sabretooth, Lady Deathstrike, and Omega Red. Special setup. The villains start in these locations. They always start in these particular locations around the board. So Sabretooth is in the villain starting location. Then Deathstrike goes 2 locations counterclockwise. And Omega Red goes 2 locations clockwise. And then if you are playing with the supervillain mode, and I think that'll be a lot of fun using these three, but if you're doing that, the heroes get these starting tokens. So we'll have a look. Now we're only going to be taking 2 heroes today, and I can't remember if I've actually play tested it with 2 yet. I know I've play tested it with 3 and 4 a fair few times, and I think I might have tried a 2-player game at the start, but I can't really remember, but we're definitely doing that today. So they're going to come in with quite low health here. We've got 2, 2, and 3, but they're quite a handful, and we're probably going to be lucky to get through that health if we can. So that's what we're looking at here. So Sabretooth's kind of like the leader of the gang, so he has 3. Alright, so let's go through. Each of them has their own BAM. So Omega Red, what he does, he's got those big long whip things, so he moves 1 hero from an adjacent location to this location, so he brings people in, and then he deals 1 damage to 1 hero in the location. Then he gains a health if below starting health, so he sort of absorbs their life force or something, I guess, with those whip things. Alright, then we've got Lady Deathstrike. She deals 1 damage to 1 hero in this location, and then she adds a thug to the location. Then she places a crisis token on 1 of the thugs in this location, and that essentially turns them into Reavers, and we'll get into that a little bit more in a little bit more detail later on. But I do remember in the cartoons, I think she was like leading the Reavers. I guess she has some. I guess they're sort of like a recurring thing with her, but yeah, I think in the sewers or something, which was pretty cool. So good to have the Reavers back. All right, so now we also have Sabretooth here. So he deals 1 unpreventable damage to 1 hero in his location, then gain a health if below starting strength. So I guess he buffs himself up. Maybe he eats them. Who knows? All right, so let's have a look at the special rules. So, only activate the BAM of the villains shown on the master plan card, resolving them from top to bottom. So essentially there's going to be various combinations of the names of these heroes at the top, and so we only activate the BAMs of the ones that are actually specified on the card. Now, heroes ending their turn in a location with a thug with a crisis token on it take a damage. And I have to remember that. That's one that, especially when I was first playing this scenario, I was sort of forgetting about that. So we'll see how I go in this playthrough. Then when a hero is KO'd, the villains don't activate their BAM. Instead, draw a master plan card and place it or add it face down in the storyline. So this is one of those ones where they're going to be basically beating us up, and every time they do beat us up, they sort of race their agenda forward by racing through their deck. So we're probably going to lose when they run out of cards. So yeah, that's what's happening there. And then the overflow: if one or more civilians or thugs cannot be added to a location, draw a master plan card and add it face down to the storyline. So again, that's going to be happening pretty quickly. So we'll see how we go. So we'll pop that down here, and 2 health, 2 health, and 3 health. And now, you may be looking at the board and thinking, oh no, Maple Monkey's going to try this with the Sentinel challenge, but no, we're not. We're actually going to be using the Sentinel to hunt down these nefarious mutants, because what I figured we'd do, rather than have like Wolverine, I've definitely played the game a few times with different, I think I've played with the whole Wolverine team before and that sort of thing, and that didn't go so well. But I thought what would be fun, because I've been getting into the homebrew stuff recently and doing some more play testing of different characters, so I've designed a pretty cool, well, I hope it's pretty cool, character that I'd like to try out in this battle. And also I thought for the theme would be pretty fun is actually to have, since the character you probably can see pretty clearly is the Sentinel, and I've made a hero Sentinel deck. I'm hoping they're going to be pretty fun. But I thought it would be pretty fun to actually, I was thinking, okay, well, if I'm going to have the Sentinel hunting these mutants down, like who could be a hero that's going to be on their side and sort of helping hunt down the mutants? And I think I remember in the cartoon, when we first meet Bishop in the future, he's actually sort of like a mutant working for the Sentinels, like hunting down other mutants, which is why I think he has this like mutant tattoo on his eye or something like that. So I think that, I don't know if he's undercover doing that or not, but I'm pretty sure he's sort of like on the Sentinel's side in at least one of the versions of the stories, I think. So anyway, I could be completely off the mark, but that's what we're going to do. So we're going to have Bishop. So we're going to start with him as a hero, and we're going to have alongside Bishop, we're going to be using the Sentinels. Now, these Sentinels, I've designed these, and they're available, they're up on the Marvel United Wiki, so you can go and check out the Homebrew files there and check out this version of the Sentinel Hero. As far as I can tell, I think maybe Simon Templar or Helios 23, back in the day, when they were designing their multi-Sentinel fight, they were also working on a Sentinel Hero deck as well. And that was pretty cool, but I think they sort of ran into a few little sort of roadblocks, and they sort of decided to sort of like put it on the shelf for a little while. So I thought I'd take a run at doing a version, and the reason I've done these guys is because I've been working on the Street Fighter stuff, Marvel vs. Capcom, and I remember one of my favorite things to play in that game was the Sentinels. So I thought, I've got to have the Sentinels in the Marvel vs. Capcom side of things. So I've designed mine to be based around that. So a lot of his abilities and things like that are based on the special moves, the special attacks in that game. So if we have a look at him, I'll just show him off first before we get started, because he's got a few little peculiarities. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but so let's have a look at him, because he's one of these characters that really just has a whole deck full of special cards. So let's check him out. He sort of has this bottom of the deck card, which is called Sentinel Force, because in the game you could sort of like bring a whole like swarm of Sentinels onto the table, and I thought this would be a fun way to sort of symbolize, or to have the big force of Sentinels arrive at the end of the game and sort of in late game and help you sort of track down your villain. So that's what this one's about. So it says here, Sentinel Force, place a Sentinel token in 2 other locations. So you can use these Sentinel tokens, or you can just use the other Sentinel models. Well, I've said tokens here just to be sort of like nice and sort of clear on the table, but I think it's pretty fun using the actual models themselves. But anyway, you place 2 other Sentinels in 2 other locations. As long as this card is face up in the storyline, you may swap locations with one of the Sentinel tokens at the start of your turn. So essentially what it means is you can pick any one of the Sentinels from then on, and that's your starting position for your turn from then on. And it gives you a nice sort of power boost here with these wilds here as well. So a great one for sort of like at the end of the game when you're sort of trying to have enough movement to hunt down the villain. This can help out. So that's the idea behind this card anyway. So too overpowered? Only time will tell. Now, the other thing is he's got these 2 attack rockets, so these deal 1 damage to everything. It's a bit like a Hulk smash in the opposite location and discard all civilians there, but you get no supporting action there. So that's those 2. He's also got 2 copies of flight, because I remember in the game you could sort of fly around the board. You could fly around the screen. So these just have some movement on them, and it says you cannot be affected by BAM effects until the end of your next turn. So you're basically sort of above the battlefield and you can't be affected by BAM effects. Okay. Let's have a look. He's got Plasma Storm. So attach a stun token to a villain or henchman in your location. So they've got to be in your location. And then next villain turn, their BAM is cancelled and the token is discarded. So just a regular stun there really, and it gives you a punch. We've got another one that gives you a punch here, which is Rocket Punch, and it says your punches may target adjacent locations, because this is where he had those sort of like extendo Dalsim arms in the video game, so that's what this does. So this punch plus any other punches you might be getting from your previous card, you can use in adjacent locations. So that's that one. And you may be noticing we've gone through the whole thing and there are no heroics, because I figured that the Sentinels being robots and being sort of attack robots, they're not very heroic at all, even if they're on your side. So I've decided to try something wild and not have any heroics in the deck at all. We've also got our single wild and double wild. And we've got Hard Drive, which is this sort of move where he sort of like generates a force field in front of him and flies across the screen and smashes everything. So this is 2 movement plus punch and discard 1 civilian in every location you enter this turn. So it helps you sort of fly around the board and just knock a whole bunch of things out of the way. So that is, hopefully that sounded all right. So he has a lot of special effects, as you can see. Each of them only gives 1 action, if any. Some of them give none. And oh, sorry, no, my mistake. He does have 1 double action there, and then he's got another double action here too. So these 2 are sort of like his special ones. Then everything else is like a single one there. So hopefully he's pretty powerful, but also he's pretty specific. Like he doesn't give any heroics, so he might be a little bit sort of bit of a wonky character, but hopefully a fun one. So we'll see how he goes on the table. All right, so we'll shuffle those up. What do I do with that bottom of the deck card? We'll put that at the bottom. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Now I probably should explain the deck of Bishop as well, in case I don't know if I've used Bishop. I think I might have used Bishop in one of my very early plays. In fact, I think we used him when I played one of my very first playthroughs, I think, was against the Sentinel mission with Nimrod, and I think we used Bishop there maybe. Was that him, or maybe against Mojo? I can't really remember. Alright, so let's have a look. Now this is an interesting one. I noticed this when I picked the character. I looked at him and I'm like, oh, don't know how good this is going to be. So his starting hand card is always an effect card, is as long as this card is face up in the storyline, you cannot take any damage dealt from adjacent locations. And as far as I can tell in this mission, I don't think there's any effect that damages you from adjacent locations. There's certainly Omega Red pulls you into his location and then hits you, but he doesn't actually hit you from an adjacent location. So this is going to be a bit of a dead card, but that's okay. You know, that's just how it goes sometimes. Let's see if there's any special. No, there's no special things here, so we might go into Bishop when his cards come up, because I don't think he's quite as complicated as the Sentinel. So that's our opening hand for Bishop. We also have 3 cards. Let's see what we got. Ooh, double wild. What a start. So double wild, we've got a Plasma Storm, so we could stun someone. That's not too bad. And we've got a a wild there. So a pretty wild start from the Sentinel, if I do say so myself. Now we also should, I sort of forgot to do this, didn't I? My apologies, I went into the heroes, but we should have actually come back and had a look at the rest of the scenario that Martin's put together, because we haven't talked about the threats. So there are 2 threats per villain, like themed around each villain, so they're all unique. So we'll have a look here. We've got Hunter Sense. Before Sabretooth would use his BAM, if there are no heroes in his location, move him to the next clockwise location with any hero. So he's always going to be coming for you. If there's a BAM on the card, he's coming for you. Alright, so you might have noticed that he does an unpreventable damage, but it's just a single damage, so you might be thinking, oh, he doesn't seem like he does a lot, but that's because he's definitely going to hit you every turn, sort of thing. Okay, we've got, this is themed around, actually, you know what I should do? Let's go through each in turn. So that's Sabretooth, so let's have a look at Sabretooth's other card here. So he's got Bloodlust. So when Sabretooth uses his BAM, place each civilian in his location in the next clockwise location. So I guess they all run away from him, which is pretty cool. And that can cause all sorts of havoc with the overflow and all that sort of stuff. So he is quite problematic. Also problematic is Omega Red. Now, Omega Red, funnily enough though, he does have this internal distrust. So there is a bit of friction in the team of the bad guys. So when this threat is cleared, delay the next villain turn by 1 card. So it's actually a beneficial card, but it's going to soak up 4 of your heroics there. So we can go for it, but it's going to be expensive. Now, where's this other one? Down here. Now this is, oh, yikes, this one. Alright, so Death Spores. Alright, so heroes in Omega Red's location, and this is not just in this spot, this is like just any, as long as this card is up, heroes in Omega Red's location must ignore 1 action symbol on the bottom of their hero cards. Oof. And before performing any other actions. So basically lose an action. And so that's Omega Red. Now, again, not to be outdone, Lady Deathstrike, she also has this unfavorable terrain. So heroes using movement to leave this location must use 2 movement instead. And we've seen that sort of card before, but they can be quite annoying at the wrong time. And then she's also got this one, which is tricky. Thugs with crisis tokens on them. Now remember, thugs with crisis tokens deal damage to us if we, I think, end our turn in their location. So that's bad enough. But this makes them require 2 punches to defeat. So unless we can get rid of that card, we're not going to be able to deal with those very handily. So that's also, so you can see all of these sound bad. They all seem like things we do not want on the table, and things that are going to work very quickly towards their victory. So hopefully you can start to see what Martin's put together, what a fiendish trap he's constructed here. So, but it's very fun. It's very chaotic, lots of stuff going on. I will try my best. It is, like I said, chaotic, so I'm afraid that I may sort of, skip some things, miss some things, that sort of thing. So apologies if I do. I'll try my best. And if I really mess it up, then I'll refilm. Okay, so let's see. I think we've discussed all of that. Last thing I did want to mention as well, just thematically what I've set up, we've got Lady Deathstrike in Japan. We've got, I don't know if she actually hangs out in Japan much, but I thought I'd put that in since it's a new location from Spider-Geddon. We've got, I thought, well, the Weapon X facility, I think Sabretooth sort of always hanging around there and got stuff to do with that, I think, him and Logan and all that sort of stuff, so I thought I'd put him in that spot. Now, I couldn't really find like a Siberian location, but I thought Morag looked kind of cold and stuff, so I thought we'll use Morag and just pretend, because I think Morag's from Guardians of the Galaxy or something, but I thought we'll put that in and just pretend it's here on Earth. And then the other 3 locations are actually the Orcus Forge, Trask's Lab, and Camp Hayden, which you may remember from the Simon Templar version of the Sentinel fight. And so they're quite fun. So I think Helios23 helped put these together as well. Build them with his Photoshop templates, and they look really cool. And they've got some funky sort of effects underneath there, which I'm not quite remembering at the moment, but I think they're pretty good. But I thought I'd put them in because we've got Sentinels, and so in this sort of hypothetical scenario where we're in the future and mutants are being hunted down, it happens to be that the mutants being hunted down are bad guys. So that's how we're going to justify using a Sentinel here. So we'll see how we go. Alright, so I think we're ready to get started. Alright, yep, just made sure I've hit the record button, so I haven't been talking to no one, so that's good. And let's get into it. Okay, alright, so, oh boy, I'm getting flashbacks. It's been a little while since I've brought this villain mission back to the table. I think it's been a couple of days, so I'm getting flashbacks of how terrible these turns are. Actually, you know what I haven't done? Let's shuffle. I think I've shuffled the heroes, haven't I? So shuffle. Okay. And let's hope they decide to use the kid gloves to start with. So we've got claw and bite. So that means from memory that's going to be Deathstrike and I'm guessing Sabretooth. So, yes it is. Okay, so let's see. So we do the movement first. So I believe what we do is we do movement with all of them going from top to bottom. Then we do the BAMs from top to bottom. Yeah, only activate the BAM shown by the master plan resolving from top to bottom. Yep. And then we do any special effects or token placement or anything like that. So. Rightio. So Deathstrike's going to go that way. Sabretooth is going to go 1, 2 to start with. Now they're going to BAM. So we're going to start with Lady Deathstrike. She deals a damage to a hero in that location. There are none at the moment, but she then adds a thug to the location. And then she adds a crisis token, making one of them a Reaver in her location, I believe. Yep, place a crisis token on one of the thugs in this location. Now, you can imagine if you had the actual thug tokens, you would just put the crisis token on top. But in this case, since I've got these awesome custom tokens from Minis from Mars, I'm going to put them sitting on top of the little triangles. Alright, so now, Sabretooth. He would deal an unpreventable damage to a hero in his location. However, there are none there, but we have to remember going back around that before Sabretooth would use his BAM, if there are no heroes in this location, move him to the next clockwise location with any heroes, which happens to be the location with both our heroes at the moment, and he's going to do a unpreventable damage. So we will just put that there. We'll put that into effect now, and we have to remember this might affect what we want to do now. It says for each thug with a crisis token, deal 1 damage to a hero in that location. So we got lucky. This is a surprise attack. So this is a really good one for Lady Deathstrike. If she's put a bunch of those out already and we haven't dealt with them, we'd be taking some extra damage. Right. So we kind of, well, you know, we were asking for the kid gloves and I think we kind of got it there. So that's not too bad. So we've got to take a damage. Let's see who we have here. We've got Bishop. We have the Sentinel. The Sentinel's got a pretty good hand of cards here, so maybe we keep that going. So maybe Bishop loses one of these. Oh, and you know what? The other thing we've got to do, he's about to do his BAM. So when he uses his BAM, place each civilian in this location in the next clockwise one. So he's pushing that civilian that way. Right. Interesting. What do I want to work with here? Maybe let's get rid of the heroic. Keep that movement. Because I'm just wondering, what am I going to do with that movement though? Not much. And the Sentinel's got wilds anyway, doesn't he? So, you know what? Let's maybe keep this star, this heroic, and we'll put the movement down. Alright, so there we go. So we've taken a damage with Bishop. We're not in a location that has any crisis tokens yet. And oh, what's that? Where's that computer? Computer is somewhere off in the distance. They're making little noises. Apologies if that's disturbing you guys. So I think we get to start our turn. I think we're good. Yep. Alright, so I've just got to remember, if I end in a spot with a crisis token, I'm in trouble. They're going to be difficult to take out if I don't deal with that location though. Alright, so Bishop, he has to draw a card, so he's, oh my goodness, alright, he's drawn a double wild. That's, I was like, well, what am I going to start with, a heroic or a heroic? But it looks like I'm going to start with a double wild. So, and when I said I haven't beaten this game yet, this film, it has been on easy mode, so these double wilds, don't get me wrong, I'm very happy we started with them, but they don't necessarily mean I'm going to win, because I haven't won yet. Let's see. Although this is probably the least punishing start I've ever had, so that's, I can't complain there. I'm just like, have I forgotten anything? He's dealt a damage. He was supposed to gain a health, but that's if he's below half health to one hero. Yep. I think we're okay. So, I really want to get rid of Omega Red's thing, because we got real lucky that he didn't like rope us in just then, and then one of us would be sort of having less effective turns. So I think what we're going to do, now we've got the Plasma Storm. That would be great to stun one of these guys. Stun old Sabretooth. But I think we need to get cracking with... oh, you know what I forgot to do? Sorry. Talking about these double wilds. I haven't even done anything with Bishop's turn. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. But you can tell which one I'm thinking of using for the Sentinel. Alright, so Bishop. Let's go. I want to get started on this, I think. So I'm going to head over here with one of those as a move. Then I'm going to place a heroic token down. That's my first turn. Second turn, we're going to draw a card. Ooh, we've got another Plasma Storm. Did I shuffle those? I did shuffle them, surely. 2 Plasma Storm. Let's just do a bit more shuffling. Got the bottom of the deck card. 2 Plasma Storms. Alright. Interesting. Alright, but let's get off, let's get out the gate early here and just try and achieve a lot here. So, what can I do here? I have to be aware that the Sentinel doesn't bring any heroics, he's only bringing attacks. Now, Bishop, on the other hand, he's got quite a lot of heroics, I think, in his deck. But I just have to be mindful that the Sentinel's not going to be able to do much about these threats. So I was thinking, I could punch out a thug here or there, but maybe I should be spending them on trying to get rid of the, the threats and rescue civilians. So maybe let's try this. Maybe let's move the Sentinel in. We know, so that's one movement. We know that he's got 2 more that he can use as wilds to clear this location here. Okay, pretty happy with that. Alright. We'll put this over, let's put it underneath. And so that's 1 threat cleared. And this says, if there are at least 2 empty slots in this location, you may add 2 thugs there to gain an attack, a heroic or a punch. Ooh. Well, I was thinking of using this last action here to rescue this civilian rather than move in. Then I'd be ending my turn in this spot with a pretty tricky customer here. So I might do that. I might rescue this guy here. Now I've got to bear in mind 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 thugs on the board. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, including the one I've rescued, civilians. So neither of those I'm going to be able to complete as things stand. We'll have to see what they end up dropping with their master plan cards. That might determine which direction we decide to go down with the thugs or the civilians, but I think that's not too bad. Now, do we have any healing spots? I don't know if we do. So, do I want to put out 2 thugs here? Well, here's the thing. If I put thugs out, then I'm making sure that there's at least enough thugs that I can actually start working on the thug threat, and then maybe Bishop can sort of... Well, actually, now that I remember, Bishop doesn't have a lot of work to do with the thugs there, does he? But I could give myself another token for... I could give myself another token for Sentinel for down the track. Interesting. Right. Considering there are 3 villains too, maybe a movement token would be good. Do we want to put some more thugs out? Just to gain a token. You know what? I don't think I do. I don't think I want to put more thugs out at this stage yet, just to get 1 token. Alright, we'll see if that's a good decision or not down the track. Alright, let's have a look. Considering that overflows can be leading us to a loss, I think maybe that's not a good idea. It's a trap. Alright, so we gained an interesting card here, Energy Absorption. So this, I think he's got 3 copies of this in his deck, so I think besides that one that we have as a starting hand card, this is what he's up to. So he gets to gain a punch token, and then you may ignore 1 damage until the beginning of your next turn. Now that's not bad. Anything that's going to keep us alive for a little bit longer is not bad. You may ignore 1 damage until the beginning of your next turn. Wow, okay, so we could use this to stop the damage from the thug, what do we call him? The super thug. That's interesting. Or we could just take 1 super thug out. Alright, well I think I'm going to play that. What do we want to do with this? We could move. We can... so we use 1 to move to get there. We can definitely place 1 star here. We can then gain a punch token, and if we use this other wild as a punch token, or as a punch, we could take out the Reaver. I wonder if that's worth spending 2 punches to take 1 thug out. I guess. And then I guess then we haven't sort of blocked 1 damage yet, so that means that if we get hit in this next round of villains, we can block at least 1 of those damages, I think. Yeah, alright, let's try that. That might be expensive. Maybe we should wait till we can clear this and then we can start punching the Reavers nice and easily, but I think that might be not a bad call. Alright, we'll see how we go. Otherwise we could have used that one to... Oh, you know what? To finish this one off as well. Oh, this is a good one to get rid of too, because it stops Sabretooth hunting us down so easily. Alright, yeah, maybe we'll work on that. That's not too bad. Alright. Is the Sentinel going to have enough to be able to deal with that? We'll see. Alright, but I think before we get to do anything, it's going to be the bad guys. And they might have something to say about our little plans here. So hopefully I'm holding that not too far, not too close. And who have we got? Alright, so Lady Deathstrike. Oh no, Lady Deathstrike's going to stay where she is. Uh-oh. And then... What's it? Who is he? Omega Red. This is not good, is it? So he's going to go 1. So grab and claw. 1, 2, 3. So he's going... Oh man, poor old Bishop. So much for that protection, buddy. I should have used it. Yeah, I shouldn't have used it on the thingy because I'm going to get Shazammed here anyway, I think. So she's not moving. Then the BAM. So he... Oh no. He's going to bring in the Sentinel. Alright. Boom, boom. There we go. Holy moly. He's bringing the Sentinel in. We didn't put any stuns out, did we? No? Okay. Okay. Because he's bringing move one hero from an adjacent location to this location. Then he deals a damage to one hero in this location. So we could do that to... We gotta do that to the Sentinel. Or are we going to do it to Bishop? Let's see. She's about to... So we take 1 on him, then he would gain health, but he is not below half health. Then she's going to deal a damage to one hero in this location and add 1 to... yeah, okay, so she's not going to do any extra damage actually, so that's... So if we take it on the Sentinel, then Bishop can actually, I think, survive this, because he probably could have survived anyway, but I think this is alright. So Sentinel takes the damage, then that's from Omega Red. Now Lady Deathstrike, she goes to attack Bishop with her attack. He blocks it with his energy absorption, and then she places a thug out, I believe. And then she adds a crisis token for another Reaver there. So we're back to square one with the Reavers. Actually happens to be a little Doombot. I don't know if you can... I don't know if that's focusing or not, but that's a little... Is it a Doombot? I think it's a Doombot. Alright. There we go. Alright. And then there's some sort of other effect. What is it? Add Spreading Terror. Add a civilian... Well, here we go. We're going to get a lot of civilians. Add a civilian in every location with no villain. So maybe we will go after the civilians after all. I don't know if we're going to have enough heroics to do that though. 1, 2... Ooh, certainly filling up now. This is not good. This is where we start to get a lot of cards played. So 1, 2, 3, and we'll put 1 here. Villains here, villains here. Okay. Uh-oh. Okay. Let's get a move on. So whose turn is it? It is the Sentinel's turn. So, Sentinel. Ooh, attack rockets. Oh, interesting. Because the attack rockets I could use to take out a bunch of thugs at once. it discards the civilians there. How many thugs are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we've got one out here. So we could actually take out all the thugs now if we wanted to, if that's how we decide to go. We could do a plasma storm, attach a stun token to a villain or a henchman in our location so we could bam one of them. Luckily we're not going to have to worry about losing an action because we got rid of Omega Red's power there. The other thing I'd like to do, we've got a single heroic here. The other thing I'd like to do is maybe do this one just to get rid of that Hunter Sense to stop Sabretooth hunting us down so easily. So maybe let's do that. Maybe let's play, I don't know if this is good because we've got these in our hand. We're still in the same, oh, hold on. We're going to take a damage here, aren't we? We're going to take a damage here because of this guy, and there's not much we can do about it. Because I've only got a single punch here. I could deal damage to everything. Oh no, it's in the opposite location anyway, so I don't get to choose. It's only here. I was thinking I could target here or even my own spot, but yeah, deal 1 damage to everything. So that's not really that useful over here. So, well, I think we're taking a damage here anyway. So, what do we do? Okay, let's play the wild. Let's do 2 heroics to clear that threat. Now Sabretooth shouldn't be hunting us down so quickly. That's 2 threats cleared of the 4 that we need. Now that's his turn done. He's going to take a damage though. Do we lose the... I think we lose the attack rockets. Let's lose the attack rockets. We'll keep the plasma storm. Maybe we can use that next turn. Deal a damage. This says deal 1 damage to each villain. Ooh, that's right. Because this is based on these missions come from the multi-Sentinel fight. So I guess it's designed for you to be able to sort of take out the Sentinels from one location too, which is pretty good, but it's only usable after the villain is vulnerable to damage. But that's going to make that quite useful for taking these guys down. Maybe that's the only way I'll be able to beat these guys. Just there you go. Just always take the Orcus Forge. Yeah, okay. I've got to remember that this is here, so we'll have to go elsewhere to sort of still complete the missions, but we might want to backtrack and come back here. Okay, so that's the Sentinel done. Okay, we didn't forget anything else, did we? Sabretooth didn't do his BAM, so we didn't have to move anyone there. Okay, this could delay the villain turn, that could be good. Crisis, this one, I think this is a good one to get rid of it. It's all the way on the other side of the board. Old mate Omega Red certainly kept us in one spot, hasn't he? So we'll draw 1 card with Bishop. So, what's he got? Ooh, he's got a move and a punch now. So maybe... interesting. A move and a punch. And a wild. Now, this is interesting. If I use... where do I want to get to? Do I want to... because I've given a punch to the Sentinel here, haven't I? So, do I want to go this way, use the punch and another punch to take out 2 of these thugs, not have to end up in the crisis token location there of the Lady Deathstrike, but then I'm stuck in this spot. I could use, I could do 1 damage to 1 thug and then use the wild to start working on this. And this is the closest one, so it's like, yeah, I'd like to get around here, but that is, ooh, it's a bit far away. Or would I like to come back this way, not get bogged down there, and then come over here? Because this is not a bad one to get rid of either. What do I want to do? He's probably likely to keep going around this way. What do I have? So he's got a bunch of heroics though. So maybe he could do that. Maybe he could work on that. So maybe he'll go that way. All right. So we're going to do the punch in this location. We're going to maybe put a star down here instead of doing this extra punch. Yeah, and then the Sentinel's going to draw a card, so he's got his attack rockets again. Not super useful, so I think I'm going to use the Plasma Storm. And we're going to use the Plasma Storm to do 2 punches against this. Oh, or are we? Or are we? Maybe what we do is we leave that guy there. Maybe we put the stun token. I'm thinking put the stun token on Lady Deathstrike. Stop her putting out. Since we can't really deal with these Reavers very well at the moment, let's stop her from having a turn putting them out. Let's then use our movement to come over here. Now the problem... I can see a problem. I've given Bishop a punch, and if I punch this guy out, there's no one for him to punch. Unless he can... Yeah, oh well, I guess we'll see. Because I'd like to do the 2 punches and take out 2 thugs rather than spending 1 on a crisis token guy. So we'll put that there. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Okay, maybe I should have taken him out, but maybe let's try and race up this track a little bit more now too. Okay. So we've put the BAM on Lady Deathstrike. We've done 2 punches to thugs. We've moved out of there. We're stuck in this spot, but hopefully hopefully Bishop can deal with that. And we'll see how we go. Right. Alright, so it is the bad guy's turn. Alright, so grab and claw. So he's going to go 1, 2. She's going to go 1. Ooh, okay. Sabretooth must be he's saving up his turns for endgame because he hasn't had a turn in a while, has he? Who do we want to drag? Maybe we don't want the Sentinel in there because the Sentinel's not doing a lot of business over there, is he? Although we do know that, you know what, he does have attack rockets which he could use over here. But then, well, you know what, Bishop, instead of sitting here putting stars down here with Bishop, we could move over here and he could work over here. So maybe we pull Bishop in. He's going to take a damage for his trouble. But that's better than, actually that's better than a Sentinel being KO'd. So we're holding on for dear life here. So let me see if I got that right. So Omega Red moved this way. His BAM has not been cancelled, so he's dragging Bishop in, doing a damage. Okay. Then Lady Deathstrike, she's moved in. Her BAM is cancelled, so she's not doing a damage. And she... well, let's see, what did I actually write here? Their BAM is cancelled. Okay, yeah, the BAM is cancelled. Right, so she doesn't get to do any of the effects of it. So she doesn't add a civilian, and she doesn't turn one into a Reaver, so that's great. It's like we planned it, and then, but what she does do, and what they all do, is they all actually put out a thug in their locations. Now he goes to put one out, he can't do that, there's an overflow, so therefore they get their first acceleration. I don't know if it's technically called acceleration, but they get to place their first face down card in the storyline. Oof. Okay. I think we've done alright to... so, I think it's like the third villain turn before that's happened. That's actually not too bad. Alright, although we've got 2 heroes sitting on very low health here, so we could get a bit of a cascading effect here. Alright, so who's up next? It is not Bishop, or is it Bishop? It is Bishop. So Bishop has a punch. He's drawn this card, so he's got a wild. We don't have to worry about Omega Red's grabby power. So, as much as I'd love to work on this, I think I want to get rid of these Reavers. So let's use a wild to move, and then use a punch to get rid of this guy, and hopefully, just worried about him dragging me back in, but well, we'll see. At least we've worked towards our goal here, but I've got to start using some of my stars here, I think. Alright, now, Mr. Sentinel. He's got a wild. He can't move. Well, he can move, because he does have a double thingy, so he could do a hard drive here and do a bunch of damage around the place, but I think what I'm going to do is do the attack rockets. So, this is going to let me do a wild. So, you know what? Let's actually work on this with the wild, and then I fire deal 1 damage to everything over here. Unfortunately, that's not going to include Sabretooth. Luckily, there's no Reavers there, so because they would have only been dealing or being damaged for 1 damage, which would not have taken them out. But they're the lower level ones, and there are no civilians to discard there, so that's not too bad. All right. We're looking okay, we're looking okay. Right. And, oh, nope, sorry, we get another turn, don't we? We haven't gone overboard yet, but if we take out 1 more thug, then we're putting them into under pressure mode. So let's try and slow down a bit and finish off these things here. So is it Bishop's turn? It must be. Now we haven't given Bishop any support with these attack rockets, though. That's an issue. Oh, and look at that, he's drawn 2 punches. Well, we'll just go with the single star. It's not exactly what I wanted, but let's get a start on getting rid of these Reavers. Now, I didn't end my turn in these spots with Reavers there, did I? No, luckily she wasn't able to put hers out. Alright, so so this is how you defeat the dastardly Omega Red. You use, or you know, the Logan Files. You use a whole bunch of homebrew stuff that maybe the normal heroes wouldn't be able to come up with some of this stuff. But we'll see how we go. All right. Hopefully you guys are still enjoying this, and hopefully you can see what a like. Hopefully the Sentinel seems like fun, and hopefully you can see what a scary threat this villain mode actually is. We'll see what they do to us now, and I may be speaking too soon. They might be about to floor me, because I think I'm about to take probably 2 KOs here, which means going up at least 2, and then there's already some spots that look like there could be some overflow brewing as well, so yeah, we'll see what happens. Grab and bite. So man, he's doing it. Oh well, this is interesting. He's moving here. He's going to grab, but there's no one to grab, so he's just going to basically be targeting Bishop there. Then Sabretooth, though, he's going 1, 2, 3, so yeah, we're in trouble here. So that's 2 KOs at least, because we've got 1 happening here. We lose our double punch. And then we lose our hard drive here for the Sentinel. So, crunch, down he goes. And now, when he bammed as well, he's going to send this civilian over to this location. So that's actually going to be, you can see where, we'll put it over here. Where does he go? So that's actually, at this stage, that's 1 for the KO, 1 for the second KO, 1 for the overflow due to this card. Then, oh boy, that we certainly ramped up, didn't we? Then they're about to do whatever's on the bottom of this card. Each of the 3 villains adds 1 thug in their location. Oof. So we've got 1 thug here and 2 thugs over here. Boy, oh boy. They're all getting full. Luckily, Lady Deathstrike did not go then. So she's not putting any Reavers out. Maybe we shouldn't be too worried about these Reavers. Maybe all of Lady Deathstrike's cards have already come out. But that was 3 cards. So you can see how quickly it can get away on us, away from us. Alright, who are we up with? Bishop, no, the Sentinel. So the Sentinel's going to come back online. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, his bottom of the deck is coming up. Alright, so 1. We have Rocket Punch, so we can punch from adjacent spots. Handy if you are in a spot where you're not able to move very well. We have Flight, so we can not be affected by, is it BAM effects? So we don't stop their BAM, but we become immune to it. We've got another Flight and another Rocket Punch. Right, so what do we want to do? We've got a star, so I think first thing we'll do is place a star here, finishing this off, right? Okay. So what does that actually let us do now? So we can now move out of that spot, which is handy, but what does the actual spot do? You may discard a card from your hand. Now we're back at full health, so that maybe not be a crazy idea. We've got to put the card down though, don't we? Ooh, you know what? Before I do that, before I even read the rest of that, oh, where'd it go? Let's just put this on there for now. I should actually decide which card I'm playing, because I shouldn't know what that is. Alright. Do we want to prevent myself from being beaten up? I think the Flight might not be that great at the moment, because I'm at pretty full health, so I think maybe do the Rocket. Only thing is, with the Rocket Punch, that would then tip things over, although I'm probably going to try and... Yeah, it's just going to give them, it's going to put them under pressure, so they're going to, we'll get 1 less turn with the Sentinel if I use the Rocket Punch. So you're going to actually start of your next turn, although that's pretty useless. Do we put them under pressure? The quicker we put them under pressure, the quicker they can become vulnerable. That's not bad. 1, 2. Just got to get rid of... Just got to get 2 more stars out of this turn. But Bishop... Hopefully Bishop has got 2 stars up his sleeve. So we used 1 star from Bishop's last turn to clear that objective. We'll use 1 punch. This doesn't give us an extra punch, but we have one at the bottom here and we can attack adjacent locations. So I'm thinking what I actually might do is punch this location here. Just so that it may not overflow next time. Right. Then it is Bishop's turn. He's going to draw 4 cards. He's going to stand up. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, here we go. Double stars. He's got an energy absorption. He's got 2 energy absorptions. He's got a move and a punch and double stars. I think we're looking good. Alright, so let's go. Your famous last words. Let's go to... Oh, wait, did I throw this guy in? I think I did. I think he's supposed to go here. Alright, sorry. I think I put him in straight into the thing. So they are... That mission is now complete. They are now officially under pressure, so we're going to get 1 turn with Bishop, and then the Sentinels are going to go again. Not Sentinels, sorry, the bad guys. The Logan Files. stabby, clawy, pinchy, spiky, whoever they are. So let's do this. So Bishop is going to... now here we go. Bishop can actually make... So if he does this, gets rid of this actually makes it easier for us to beat up the Reavers as well. Oh, we should put this back on here because that's the next card coming up, isn't it? So, and I forgot to see what the Sentinel could do, but you may discard a card from your hand to the bottom of your deck to gain 2 punch tokens. That would be good, but if I'm about to potentially take damage... 2 punch tokens, that could be pretty good. Do we take a damage? There's 2 of them there. What are the chances they're both going to hit me? Ooh, I don't know. Well, let's... you know what, let's live dangerously. We'll take a damage and gain 2 punch tokens. Do we need it? Probably not. Because I'm thinking we can use this Orcus Forge. We've got Bishop over here about to do some damage. Oh, we can gain a wild token too. But let's take it anyway. Alright, so we've got 2 punch tokens with the Sentinel. We took a damage to soup ourselves up, but now like Weapon X Sentinel. We've placed the 2 stars here. Cleared that objective. They're now vulnerable. So we can now start using the Orcus Forge. And I can gain a wild token. It's the Bishop. And Bishop can now deal that 1 punch. He can actually punch Omega Red. So Omega Red loses a health. For now, we've got to get rid of this BAM too, don't we? For now, because they can regain some of that health, though. We've got to bear that in mind. And speaking of regaining health, they're about to have a turn, so... yep, let's see what they do. Okay, so, oof. It's grab, claw, and bite, so all 3 of them are going. And it looks like Omega Red's going to stay there and duke it out with Bishop, so he's not going to draw anyone in, unfortunately. Well, fortunately for us. So we're going to lose some health here. Let's maybe... move and punch? Or gain the punch token and ignore damage. No, let's lose one of those. We've got 1, so we can always use that. We'll keep the move and a punch, and we'll keep one of the energy absorptions. So he's done that, but he also then gains a health. Deal 1 damage to a hero in this location, then gain a health. Alright, yep, that's what he does. Then Lady Deathstrike, she's moving 1. Now technically I'm supposed to have moved her. Oh, and you know what? 1, 2. Oh, this is not good. This is not good. Alright, she's going to put a... She's going to deal damage to no one, but she's going to put this guy here and make him a Reaver. Now these Reavers still deal damage to us at the end of our turn if we end in their location, but we can take them out with a single hit now. So she missed, so we got lucky here, and then Sabretooth's going to move in and he's going to deal a damage. Luckily he hasn't been wounded, so he would heal, but he hasn't been wounded. So he's going to deal a damage to, another damage to Bishop. Maybe we'll put the energy absorption thing onto Bishop. So we'll lose the move and punch. Right. Oh, and Sabretooth pushes these guys over here. Because he's doing his punch over here to Bishop. Yep. Oh, you know what I just realised too? Bishop's not going to be able to ignore Sabretooth punches. Uh-oh. Okay. Because he does unpreventable damage, I think. So, okay. We have to take them out as quick as we can. Alright, so Sentinel. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Alright, Mr. Sentinel. You got 2 punches too. So the Sentinel, let's play Sentinel Force down. Alright. So we've got 2 heroics and 2 wilds, but the cool thing is we now get to place these down where we want. So let's place 1 in the Orcus Forge. 1. Oh, now hold on a second. Place a Sentinel. As long as you may swap at the start of your turn. Okay, so for all intents and purposes, so even though we're placing these 2 guys down, so I'll place 1 on the Orcus Forge. That sounds like a good idea. And then let's maybe place 1. Let's maybe we could place 1 here where they are, but I think they're going to move from there, aren't they? So maybe let's place 1 here, and then we could maybe sort of cover our bases a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Or should we just place him here? Getting a wild token's not bad. Yeah, alright, let's place him here. Okay. Now, so for all intents and purposes, these are just tokens. This is the Sentinel for this turn. So the Sentinel, because we've already had the start of our turn, so we can't choose to sort of swap places yet, but going forward in his turns he can do that. Sentinel's been given what? He's been given 2 heroics, but what we can use here, we've got this movement from Sentinel Force. So Sentinel Force, we're going to move over. We'll use our 1 punch token and 1 remaining wild there, although we could delay their turn if we spend some of these as wild. No, but I think, yeah, let's save 1 punch token. So we're going to use 1 punch token, 1 wild to KO, take out Lady Deathstrike. So she has been banned. There we go. Down she goes. Then we'll use the two heroics to work on the internal. Oh, or should we just stop overflows from happening? Maybe we'll do that. Yeah, I think that's a better move rather than worrying about this too much at the moment. Yep, we'll use the 2 heroics to do some rescuing. Hopefully we can delay any extra overflows here. And this is a Reaver though. So we are going to take a damage. Oh, alright, we're going to take a damage. Okay. Yikes. And Bishop, what are you up to, buddy? You've got a move, you've got energy absorption. So, well, I think we know what you got to do, buddy. Oh man, Sabretooth's going to be a bit of a pain, isn't he? We're going to spend our wild. Oh, you know what? Totally forgot. We've got these 2 wilds here. So, maybe this should only be 1 wild. What do you guys think? Is that too powerful? Because he's got pretty low actions across his deck. So I thought, oh, you know, just to sort of boost him up late game sort of thing, you can have that. But that's pretty powerful. Alright, so we'll see. Anyway, so he's got 1 heroic, which he's not going to be able to do much with here, but he is going to gain a punch token. I think he had a wild token, and he's got these 2 here, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 damage in total. So he can say goodnight to a Omega Red. And he can deal 2 damage to Sabretooth, but not quite take Sabretooth down. So, how many cards have they got left? So you can see they've still only got the 3 cards left, and we've got 2 heroes on 1 health each. And remembering that this is the Sentinel, so these 2 are tokens, so that's why you may prefer, if you want to use my Sentinel rules, and let me know if you think this is too many wild tokens. Maybe we should reduce that down to 1, but maybe I can make an alternate version for people to print off if they want to. So this essentially, we should have 2 Sentinel tokens here, and that might make it a bit easier to sort of work out, okay, this is the one that gets targeted by villains and that sort of thing as well. Alright, so what we're hoping is that Sabretooth swings and misses. That's what we're hoping, because if he lands on us, luckily we don't have Omega Red that can pull us both in, because if he landed on us, he could KO us both, then he'd be running out of both cards, and then we'd have 1 turn out. I think we've got it, because he's only got 1 health. He's probably going to heal 1 here, but I think we can take him down. We've got the Orcus Forge and all sorts of stuff going on here, but you can see how nasty these guys actually are. And if we get unlucky with some overflow and that sort of thing as well, they could get us as well. So we'll see how we go. I think I'm supposed to take a wild here for Bishop as well. So here we go. What are they up to? There's some sort of special effect here, so there could be something going on. So Sabretooth is going to, so Omega Red's not there, so we ignore him. Sabretooth's going to move 2, so he's going to go 1, 2. Luckily we did get rid of, oh, this is interesting. Luckily we did get rid of the thing where he immediately jumps to us and hits us. But watch this, I think we're still about to get Shazam twice here. Because he bams, right? So he goes to do his bam. When Sabretooth uses his bam, place each civilian in his location in the next clockwise location. So here they all are, they run over here. Unfortunately, there's only 2 spaces for the 3 of them, so we get an overflow, which means one of the cards comes out. Then he's adding 1 civilian to every location with no villains. So there's 1 here, 1 here, 1 over here, 1 over here, 1 over here, and wouldn't you know it, there's 1 more here. So that is the last card. So we basically have 1 turn to take him down. He's got, and he gains a health too, so he's back to 2 health. We have to remember that this is a what do we call this guy? Reaver. Sorry, this is a Reaver, so we definitely don't want to choose, because now it's going to be the Sentinel's turn. So the Sentinel, so I think we've got this, right? Because yeah, we got this, but the Sentinel definitely doesn't want to choose this as their spot, because he doesn't want to end his turn there and like get KO'd. But it's all a bit of a moot point, because what the Sentinel's going to do now is he's going to choose this to be his location. So boop 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 boop, over he goes. Swap locations. So this is now the active Sentinel. So the Sentinel force is closing in on the bad guys, and so what we'll do is now we'll be able to use our, we've got a single star here, so we'll rescue this civilian. And again, I think I did it again where I put the civilians in the box instead of, I think there should be 2 civilians that I rescued from over here. Not going to make a difference, but just in case you guys are learning the game or whatever, hopefully I'm showing off what you can actually, what, you know, the correct rules. Hopefully I haven't missed too many rules. So yeah, Martin, let me know if I've missed anything. But I think I've caught everything. So we're going to use the rocket punch. So we've got a single punch that we can use in an adjacent location. So we're not going to move from Orcus Forge. We're going to use this Sentinel here. We're going to go rocket punch, do 1 damage to Sabretooth, and then oh, you know what? It says your punches. So we could have also used this punch token that we had as well left over. But what I'd like to use is the Orcus Forge. Deal 1 damage to each villain. So by the time we got to use it, there was only one villain left. But there you go. So we're going to use the Orcus Forge and take out Sabretooth. So there you go. Hopefully that was a good showing for you. Martin, I hope you were happy with how things played out there. Apologies, I sort of did. I promise I've been beaten many times by these guys. I think I've lost at least 5 times, maybe 6. They definitely ramp up really quickly, and as you can see, we even with using a multi-villain hitting location in a multi-villain fight, even with using Sentinels with double wilds and multiple Sentinels rocketing in all over the place and that sort of thing. Hopefully that showed still how tough these guys are, because even with all of that and the double wilds playing with easy mode and that sort of thing, we got down to the last card. We basically had 1 round left and we would have been game over. So yeah, hopefully that showed off how hard they were. A couple other things too about these guys. That's a lot of fun, and every game I've played has, depending on the card that comes out first, changes the board state, and they come out and they do different things, and you get in all sorts of trouble and that sort of thing. So every game, even though you always start them in the same spot, you get quite different games just from that first card that comes out. Can create completely different dynamics, and of course where the different threat cards are to start with and that sort of thing as well. I guess that's pretty par for the course, right? For Marvel United, that's how it works. It's modular and that sort of thing. But in case you were looking at that start where, okay, all 3 villains always start in the same spot and wondering, oh, is that going to make things a bit too samey? Trust me, you end up having quite different games. Sometimes the Lady Deathstrike's the real threat. Sometimes Omega Red's a real pain. So yeah, it's really good. So I quite like it. Lots of replayability in it. Not just because it's hard and you want to keep playing to beat it, but it can be quite different as well. The other thing is that what Martin's done is he's now I don't think I actually printed them. Apologies for that, but he's got 2 variant cards for Lady Deathstrike. So we've got, these are the 2 ones. She's got that one that delays movement, and she's got the one that makes the Reavers a little bit tougher. But I think in playtesting he was sort of going back and forth with different ideas for some of these threats. And so what he's done is he's actually produced, when you go in to print the different cards, there are some optional cards you can use for Lady Deathstrike. So she's got one based on the Reavers, which has the Reavers actually sort of moving around, traveling around the board and hunting you down. So rather than them being extra tough, they actually sort of have the capacity to sort of chase you around the board. So that's quite a fun one. And I think the other one makes her tougher. I think instead of this unfavorable terrain one, I think it's like cybernetic enhancement or something like that, and she ignores a damage each turn. So yeah, that's some alternate ones there, and I don't know that they necessarily make it harder or not. I think they just give you a different flavor, and so that's again another way you could sort of swap both of those in. You could swap them, just put one in or one of the other sort of thing. You could even, I guess, if you want something crazy, you could have 3 or 4 cards based on Lady Deathstrike and make her like a real threat in the team, and maybe one of the other 2 sort of not so much sort of thing. But yeah, so I thought that was a really fun one. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to see Simon Templar's, or again, I forget whether it was Simon Templar or Helios 23 that made their locations. But hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing those pop up again. Although we only got to see one. We didn't clear the other 2, did we? What were these ones? Discard 2 tokens or a card to the bottom of your deck to reduce the villainous plot track by 1. Oh, well, there you go. So yeah, the Sentinels have a villainous plot, so not so helpful in this scenario. But I always do like sort of playing with random thematic scenarios and locations and stuff, even if they don't, like Bishop, even if the abilities don't necessarily match up to the villain you're fighting, sometimes it's fun just to have that in there. And you know, that's the great thing about the game. You can sort of really tailor how easy or hard you want it to be. So you can see there was enough easy stuff that we put in, like the easy mode cards, and the I think the Sentinels seemed like they were pretty powerful as well, so that was good. So you can sort of put these in and out, and you can see this was quite a powerful location too. So having one that was a bit of a dud as well is probably fair enough. Yeah, hopefully you guys like the Sentinel. So you let me know what you think about the Sentinel Force, whether is that too big a boost to have 2 wilds there late game like that. I guess you could always play without the regular double wilds and that sort of thing. You know, is it counteracted enough by the fact that there are no heroics in your deck, and that every other card just has a single action there? Or I guess they've all got special effects though, right? So they sort of make up for that. So I think maybe that's a bit too powerful. I mean, we're missing cards here, missing actions here, but yeah. Let me know what you think. But that was my first test drive of the Sentinels. I was just so excited to sort of put them together the other day. I haven't really done a lot of play testing with them, but they were pretty fun. So I really enjoyed using them, so that was good. And as always, really enjoyed the Logan Files. So if you're looking for the Logan Files, I don't think they're quite up yet on the Marvel United Wiki. I think Martin might have plans to put them up shortly, but you can access them on his page or his section of the Marvel United Discord folders there, or whatever it might be, the Homebrew section. So they're definitely in there under the Logan Files. He's also working on some other things too. He's got some ideas about sort of having upgrade cards where you can put in threat cards for other villains and that sort of thing. So you might take a Kingpin and then put in some different threats to sort of change up his scenario and that sort of thing. I guess similar to this idea of having more than one set of threats and sort of choosing which ones you want to put in, sort of thing. So there's some other things he's got he's working on. So yeah, so another home brewer. We've shown off their stuff. So hopefully that's been inspiring for you. The more the merrier, and I'm really happy to see this great stuff and the collaboration. We had that chat with Dave the other day, and Dave, I think, was quite helpful to Martin, helping him put together the actual card templates and the dashboard and that sort of thing as well. So really good to see the community coming together and seeing what people can do. So if you're halfway interested in designing something, or if you're just looking for you've played all the villains so far in Marvel United and you want to play some more, the homebrew sections are a great place to go until we can get our fix with Season 3. So really looking forward to Marvel United Season 3. Definitely check out, we've got Marvel United Spider-Geddon's hitting retail most places around the world. I think it's still a little bit hard to get in some places, so that's unfortunate, but if you can get yourself a copy, that's a great set. When Season 3 hits, not just the Kickstarter, but a lot of retail stuff will be coming out too, and there's some great stuff there too, with like the Multiverse core set and some of the other ones there that are coming out as well. So yep, thank you CMON, thank you Andrea for all this great playground we get to play in, and hopefully you guys don't mind us homebrewers just sort of embellishing and adding to the playground. So yep, well done Martin V. Or Martin Z or VZ, and yeah, I hope this was fun for you and getting to see your creation out on the internet, and yeah, hopefully this did them justice. This is a historical moment. First time I've beat them. Now I'll have to try and beat them without this thing here. Maybe go up to 3 players. I think it gets harder the more heroes there are to get banned and stuff as well, so that could be a thing as well. But yeah, anyway, well, thank you guys. Meeple Monkey out. See ya.